The Ian Carroll situation. Now, I personally, first time I ever saw Ian Carroll, I thought this guy is very talented. He's great. He's going places. He's going to be a big deal. I just sensed an extreme amount of charisma, talent, and also hard work from the guy. But so on the Joe Rogan thing, first of all, them calling you a grifter is completely ridiculous because, or Joe Rogan saying grifter, more to the point, but then saying, oh, well, not David, but you bring it up when David's name's in the room. How can you be a grifter when you're not grifting? It's like you're going against all of the current grifts. So there's no money in disagreeing with Elon. There's no money in disagreeing with Trump. There's no money in disagreeing with Alex. There's no money in saying you don't follow any religion. There's no money being against all wars. So what is the grift, people? But that said, what was Ian Carroll said that you had called him out or that you had started a beef with him? What was your beef with him? And then how do you respond to the things that Joe Rogan and he said about you?
Well, my beef was that he was saying things, but missing out crucial bits of it. He was,
for example,
he was also repeating stuff that's been around for a long time, as if it was somehow revelatory,
To be fair, he does admit that. He admits that I mean, personally, I think he's a younger guy that's in the TikTok world. He realizes that nobody's going to get this stuff until you package it into a 3-minute little clicky video. He knows the language of the kids. He speaks it fluently. And he's become hyper successful, but I don't think he's ever really gone around claiming that he doesn't stand on the shoulders. But go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is that people will have to look at people like Ian Carroll and make a decision, make a judgment on whether they should be skeptical about what's happening or whether they should just say, okay, he's all right. And the thing is that he is loved by the algorithm. I mean, he didn't even go on Twitter until 2023. He's loved by the algorithm, and that's a bit of a red flag because those that are really challenging the system are not loved by the algorithm. And he gets tremendous promotion. People like Mike Flynn love him. And he gets on the Rogan show and gets massive promotion as a result of that. And people coming out and, within the alternative media mainstream saying how wonderful he is and all that stuff. And you think, well, what's going on? I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years, just coming into the 36th. I've been researching it full time in that period. I've been to nearly, if not more than 60 countries doing the research. And I've never been on the Rogan show.
That makes no sense. I mean, but that is not necessarily Ian's fault. I really think people are drawn to Ian.
No, I'm not saying it's Ian's fault. What I'm saying is that he's had tremendous promotion. And people like Whitney Webb, who does very, very detailed research into this AI and into this whole reality of pushing the AI agenda. And she's never been on the Rogan show. But Rogan has had Peter Thiel on and given him a soft interview, who is orchestrating the AI. He's had Mark Andreessen on, who's doing the same. He's had Musk on, softball interviews. And then just before the election, he has Trump on and gives him a softball interview and allows him to lie through his teeth without being challenged. Like he said, he never said, hey, jail Hillary. He never was supported that. Well, actually, the videos exist to show that he did. And why aren't you calling that out, Joe Rogan?
I could have put crooked Hillary
I respected that you didn't, because what you said was it would be bad for the country.
I couldn't even imagine. You have, first of all, Secretary of State, but more importantly, the wife of the President of the United States of America going into jail. And if you ever saw, when I'd say something about her, they'd all say, I didn't say it. I never said it. They say, lock her up, lock her up. And I'd always go, take it easy, just relax. We're going to win this thing. Take it easy, take it easy. And I'm telling you, I kept it down, just the opposite. Now they say, oh, Trump wanted to put her in jail. No, I saved her from going to jail. They had more stuff on her.
Crooked Hillary Clinton. Oh, she's crooked, folks. She's crooked as a $3 bill. Okay, here's one. Just came out. Lock her up is right.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
It's becoming kind of glaringly obvious, Joe. Like, if you're not going to talk to one particular person, like, and you're just going to like write him off, even though he was against COVID before you were. He was realizing what was going on with Israel before you were. He was talking about mind control and AI before you were, and you're not going to bring him on. Why? Weird.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point I've been making. It's not that I want to be on the Rogan show.
Well, you should be.
Yeah, I should be on the basis of journalism, but it's not something that I want to be on the Rogan show because then everyone will see me. I'm just asking a simple journalistic question of why I haven't been, given my history, when so many other people have, many of whom are pushing the very agenda I'm challenging. My point about the whole Ian Carroll situation is that he has been on the Rogan show, having, by his own admission, been involved in this for, compared with me, 5 minutes, and yet I'm not allowed on. And the other thing that was kind of a bit of a head shaker is when Ian Carroll said on the Rogan interview, basically, David Icke, oh yeah, it's just said it's all the reptiles. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's an element of it. And all the other stuff that I've talked about over 35 years and written about in the books is kind of dismissed by this kid who's been around 5 minutes as, oh, he just says it's all the reptiles.
And the people that have been here for forever, like the Alex Joneses of this world, the Jacques Valleys, the people that like watch things break live, you just get a different level of context. And then you get like the David Ickes that are like, it's fucking reptiles, dude. They're all reptiles. David, have you seen David Icke coming after me on Twitter recently?
He came after me
dude,
too.
It's so
because
good. I love him.
Make fun of the reptile thing, and it's like, why won't you have me on?
I genuinely really appreciate it. It's like a good time.
And then you've got Rogan, not just in this incident either, but with when he had Russell Brand on and what have you, is it just writes off the whole reptilian thing, and me as a result of that, when I've been researching this since the mid-1990s. I've been following modern and ancient accounts of these entities and how they weave their way through history and weave their way through cultures. I've talked to whistleblowers in the military who've experienced face-to-face these entities in the underground bases. On and on and on and on it goes. And it's dismissed as, oh, he says it's all the reptiles. It's just...
Reptile tea. Very nice.
I honestly think Ian is, I think he's innocent of this situation. I mean, I don't know if you know who I am, David. Did you ever know who I was before with this interview?
No.
You never saw my Hail Fauci speech when I called out the vaccine passport during COVID lockdowns?
Well, I probably did.
Yeah. Your son wanted to be in a band with me at the time. He said,
"Oh, right, okay, well, you must be good then."
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I was yelling and screaming at these bastards that were trying to put the vaccine passport in. If I show you the clip, you'll probably guarantee remember it because you were in the scene. But so okay. I did that. It went viral. It was literally on Colbert Report. It was on Trevor Noah. I won awards for being the biggest lunatic. I'm right up there with you, right?
Oh,
and I was
right,
like,
yeah,
yes,
well,
I'm the number one lunatic.
Right,
no, I wanted to win, dude. They're like, who's the biggest lunatic? I'm like, please, I want to win. If I'm going to be on the list, I want to be the top lunatic, right?
Yeah.
So But after that, Alex Jones' crew reached out to me. I was on Alex Jones, and then I was on, Stu Peters, and I was on all these other networks. And the TV was doing stuff about it. And, Saturday Night Live even did a skit about it. I mean, Snoop Dogg talked about it. And I can tell you, I am not juiced in. I've never made a penny out of any of this stuff. But sometimes something just flourishes, and there's a star power to people. Personally, I think, no offense, when Alex Jones, who just had Ian Carroll on, he knows Ian Carroll has a massive following of young people. And it's not that he's necessarily doing Ian Carroll a favor. He's trying to suck their audience over their way. So I think Ian Carroll, I really believe he is a very charismatic person. He knows how to put these things together. He admits he's not that big of a genius of it all. He always says, I'm just a dude, but he hits, he connects. And I really think the connection is real. So I would hope that you guys could squash the problem. As for Joe Rogan, dude, what are you doing? Where the hell why is David not on? If Joe requested you be on, would you be on at this point?
Oh, I'd go on, but I mean, you've got to ask me first, and he's also got to explain why we're decades on from his podcast, and he's never. He's never asked. Not only that, I've met one or two people that's been on his show over the years, and they've said, "Have you never been on?" I know. That's ridiculous. I'll contact him. And then when I pointed this out maybe a couple of years ago, this is a bit strange, isn't it? Because he was starting to have people on talking about COVID who bought the COVID hoax, extraordinary. People like Brett Weinstein. So someone contacted us and said, I know the Rogan people, I'll give them a call. This is ridiculous. I never heard another thing. So there's a reason, I'd like to know what it is, that A, he dismisses me whenever my name comes up, and B, has never asked me on. Because I've done 35 years of research across a vast wave of range of subjects, and people who've been around for 5 minutes are suddenly on. People who are part of the agenda are given softball interviews. So why wouldn't someone like me be asking the questions, what's going on?
It makes no sense.
In terms of Ian Carroll, it's not that. He put out a strange thing the other day after the Rogan interview where he said, "Oh, David Icke hates me. I don't hate him. I don't hate anybody." What you?
I don't know. He said you were calling him out or something, that you were going off on him.
I was pointing out that he was supporting the election of Trump, and then complaining about what Trump was doing. He was saying that what Israel is doing is diabolical, and all the rest of it, while supporting a guy who is owned by Israel, Donald Trump. The point being that none of us should complain about being questioned when we're telling people to question everything.
Right.
And it's up to people to make their own judgments, not just on what's gone so far, but what's going to go on from here on. But if you are calling out Israel, which he wasn't doing for a long time.
He's been pretty hard on Israel.
In recent times, yes. But at the same time, supporting a guy who's owned by Israel and is giving Israel everything it wants, who is taking off all limitations on weapons being given to Israel, and that's a contradiction. And that should be open to being called out. But I don't hate the guy. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I'd love to see you guys on together. I'd love to see him pick up one of your books and do a breakdown of your theories on there, and hopefully he wouldn't be offended if he did it. I contact him sometimes.
I wouldn't be offended, but nor would it impact on me greatly, to be honest.
I just think it's interesting because he's like a gateway drug for kids. That the thing with the awakening, as you call it, is, and there is the go here and not so much further, but in reality, it ignites a passion in people to where once you start like uncovering the falsities and going past and seeing the conspiracies, in a way, you're like, well, you want more, you want to see further beyond the veil. And obviously they try to stop you, but I think he's a great gateway drug for younger kids and stuff like that actually start getting into the, wait a minute, what's going on here? Who's BlackRock then? You know, like, why are they controlling my shampoo? And they start wondering, you know, what's happening, and they start questioning Israel and stuff like that.
But the point is that unless we move beyond this myopia of what the conspiracy is, then the conspiracy will go on and it will reach its conclusion. Because while, you know, you've got this massive support for Trump and Musk and all the rest of it, the agenda just goes on moving forward at an ever greater speed. And we've got to see that this conspiracy is at its foundation a conspiracy to convince us that we're in a world that we're not actually in, that we are experiencing a reality that we think is a certain type of reality, but actually is nothing like we appear to see it. Now we're experiencing it, because otherwise, unless that is addressed and that's understood, then what will happen in, say, you know, Trump was a star and really believed what he says and all the rest of it, and Musk was a genuine, neither of which I strongly contend is true, but let's say they were. And then in 4 years' time, someone else comes in with a completely different set of policies. And so the whole thing just goes on and on and on and on, while people are, oh yeah, who's going to win this time? Who's going to win this time? And at the same time, they're experiencing a reality that's not as they think it is. That's the level of the conspiracy, not Trump or Harris. But if you focus only on Trump and Harris, then you miss that. And that's the point I've been trying to get across. And it's amazing how much abuse you get when you try to do that. But I don't care. Because
I gotta say that
hold on,
you're literally the anti-grifter. I don't know how you're supposed to be grifting when you're against all grifts.
Yeah, but I have children and I have grandchildren, and they're going to have to. And then I look at all the other kids and grandkids, and that's what drives me on. I'm coming up to my 73rd birthday. You know, I could be retired and walked away. I don't have to take this shit and this abuse, but I take it and I do it despite it. Because I can see the kind of world that my kids and grandkids and other people's kids and grandkids are going to have to live in, and not just them too, but the vast majority of people that are still alive today are going to have to experience that world, and I don't want it to happen. I could walk away and leave them to it. I mean, how long have I got? 5 minutes or 10 years? I don't know. We'll see, but I could walk away now. I don't have to take this. I do, because I don't want people to live in a world that I know is coming unless we wake up fast to the greater picture and break out of this myopia that we've been manipulated into.